Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik again, and this is my game, or my play-by-email match against Xargun. He is the commander of the Allied forces and I am the leader of the Japanese Empire. We playing scenario 1, no modifications, on the game version 26B. And I flip here Northern Rangoon, empty base. I send one of my TIE regiments up to make sure that there's nothing crazy happening later on, or a retreat option for the British army. I mean, I don't really believe in it, but better safe than sorry. This is California, West Coast America. You can see the AO. And this looks like a big AO, maybe even one of the biggest AOs in the game. And no escort. I can intercept it, 2 hits, heavy damage and on fire. I mean, you can see already that the commander choose 4 torpedoes for AO. So he knows this ship have value. And it is sinking. That is a nice start. So, Navy Guard units are arriving at Jolo, picking up here all the bases. And these are Australian, New Zealand dot bases. Okay, green is Australia, blue is New Zealand. Okay. No engagement. I mean, I let my cruisers run north, more or less direction of Nadi, to get distance. I was not sure, and I don't believe that Xargun will hunt me down, but I must play it safe. The cruisers are both not ready for battle, so I send my own carrier division south and the cruisers north so that they can meet each other. And if Xargun plays is super risky, he would normally now engage my carriers. But now we are at daytime, no Navy engagement in total, and I sweep here the British troops. After I achieved yesterday in Rome the victory and take the field. Venture was not so successful, but can still be in my favor sooner or later. And I have the emergency task to support my retreat out of the hex and suppress all Chinese attempts to kick me out of the hex. And these Chinese groups are now all out in rough terrain. There's no real easy target, so I can bomb them all a little, everywhere a little, so that there's a lot more in movement. Xi'an get also some air base hits, so I need to slow down any new fort construction. And also last support strike for Kota Peru. Not that the Allied forces was really strong, but I can only attack Singapore airfield, or I support here my ground troops. And here's a flag kill. Oops. Hurricanes, because in Akira There are, I think, 6 allied fighters. I'm not sure if they are hurricanes or buffaloes. Hurricanes are always a little tough, but they don't have range. Buffaloes are worse, but they have range. Yeah. And this is my smaller carrier division, and I find here some Dutch APs. So these are all Dutch APs escaping from Surabaya, and I can find them here at Dunedin, but empty. Ah, good. No military target. This is, I think, the third AP was on fire, heavy damage just now. It's now gone down. So I'm more or less at the source end of New Zealand, and it's the, I think the other carrier division is at the direction east of Auckland. And then I find nothing really more important, only these APs. So Xargun is still denying every real major Navy clash. The first time we had a night engagement a little, maybe lucky for me, I was able to damage Lexington. Now yesterday it was unlucky for me, and a carrier, I don't know which carrier, found my cruisers somewhere out in the oceans. But no cruiser battle, no battleship engagement. So far everything is very quiet. Good, this is the third Battle of Bataan, if I remember. I think this was the third battle. So the third attempt, Clarkfield fall already after the second battle, Bataan hold the second battle, but I guess this is now the end. I could be wrong and this is only the second battle of Bataan. But fort is down, yeah. So this means the Luzon campaign is officially over at the 12th January 1942. After 5 weeks of, roughly 5 weeks I would say, all American forces at Luzon are defeated. I hope they're really surrendering all. Surrender, 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 and surrender. And nothing really a big change. The Allied was still better, was still successfully digging in and increasing their defense value. My attack value still was dropping. This is double terrain still, but no fort support. And the Filipinos, they had no morale. Yeah. So for me, also the last battle, very light destroyed units. Still a lot disabled, but that is possible to fix. And 32 units getting now wiped out of the map. So you can also see here that there was 934 combat units, but the attack value was only 480. So half the combat unit was maybe still active, and the other one maybe disabled already, but it's always hard to see. At the end, everything is getting destroyed, and that is important. This is only a bombardment, still keeping the Chinese busy and consuming supplies on both sides, hopefully in my favor. And this was its retreating Chinese forces. I sent more or less one division and one mixed brigade I was able to mobilize for this action, or this interception mission. I was more or less moving them down and try to be faster than the Chinese escaping to Aicheng, and I catch them in time. And I think they're retreating now to Aicheng, yeah. But they get a kick to retreat. And yeah. So whatever was attack value left in this units is now at 0. An easy victory for me. But more I cannot do out with this. I cannot go for Aicheng, but I can make sure there's no really powerful units retreating to Aicheng. First a bombardment, now my navy, my ground units. This is Wenchao. The attack failed last time, so I wait 1 or 2 days before I strike again. Let the aircraft or my air force bomb the enemy. This is also a river crossing. There was a Chinese unit somewhere coming from behind, I don't know where exactly, but I sent I think a mixed brigade. Yeah, I sent a mixed brigade to take care of this unit. I saw that they are not really so strong, and it was working. So now they are also empty. I not really must care them, but they still can block the supply line. So Kukong getting more bombardments. There's still this 25th Chinese Corps is a little stronger, the others are not so powerful, so maybe I call back my mixed brigade and then I strike Kukong. I am not so sure. I must be a little careful. Up to now it's in my favor. I can take out more Chinese day by day and burn their supplies, so time is with me, I would say. This is north of Pegu, an empty base, but it's on the highway, on the rail, so good to take it. This is my bombardment to keep the Chinese busy. One more New Zealand base, another one here. This is some Australian stuff, no one here. Island, also a future air base, navy search base, and the Dutch forces out of Tarakan, the base force in the Dutch battalion. I take it, but they still both don't want to surrender. Yeah, okay. And the Allies striking again, and you can see there's now at least 3 strong Chinese units. And they're all attacking. You can see the numbers are going down, so I think they are striking. And this was 1,500 on paper, but I would say it was a morale collapse. I have here normally preparation and fatigue. My units are normally tired, but they have still discipline. Even if you are tired and your discipline training is good, you're fighting well. But I was not able to really kill any Chinese units, but I keep them in away so they cannot overrun me. This was, I think, a standard attack, not a So 150 attack value less for this Chinese units. Most important is I think the Chinese, they simply don't have the morale or the readiness to really attack. They can defend but not attack. And my one division is still strong enough to be a strong defensive fighting force. So overall, a good turn. Today I would really say it was a good turn. I took Bataan. I can finish this campaign. My Japanese armies are still retreating in order. My air force is still supporting everywhere where it is possible and necessary. And I sunk a AO. +3 cheap Dutch APs. Oh, good. This means it ends air war 1-4. Yeah, still some flag losses. Some search airplane, maybe Singapore again. And so I lost 2 pilots. Ship sunk last turn. I only get here 3, but I think there was 2 out of this AAPs are official already dead, but there was number 4 and number 3 is also dead, so 3 very cheap, short range, small capacity. Yeah. But the AP, the AO have value. That is a big ship, fast. I mean, it's really a fast oiler. And you can see the 15,000, this is the biggest, I think, what allies have. Could be wrong, but I think it's similar to what the Japanese have. And the Japanese have only 4 of this kind of ships. And then it's over. No rebuild. Good. Because we are already here, now the air kill ratio is now, roughly speaking, 3,200 to 65. That is a good ratio. The points wise, I am now already roughly 1,200 points in lead. But let's say roughly 1,000. Still far away from every 3-1, 4-1. I mean, auto victory is 4-1. If I can achieve a 3-1 victory to the end of the year, it would be still good, I would say. So I lost 11 ships so far. Allies lost to 106 so far reported. I always know only my numbers are true. The allies, they can maybe make something wrong, or I believe I sunk more than reality was. You can maybe check. So far, all Japanese ships lost are a bunch of midget submarines, and out of this 5 I got 2 torpedo hits on American battleships. Not that you have really a choice. No. I lost 2 small cargo ships, 2 of my good AMCs. This is now like the oiler AMC, similar. 1 good cargo ship is also running, sunk by hit a rock under sea and breakdown. And the Fuji have a lot of value, victory points. Not sure why, because it's normally really a smaller destroyer, and this is an escort ship, but it's not really much more. So this is the only military stuff. The AMCs are half military equipment, and this I would say is nonsense stuff. It's not really working well. It's make no sense to use this mid-sized submarines. Air losses, maybe let's check this. Total, maybe only for Japan first. So you can see twin engine bombers, 1 engine bombers, 1 engine bombers. All army, and this is also army 1 engine recon plane. So this means I would say 80% of my losses are army related, and out of this is nearly everything is strike aircraft. And the ops ratio to flag ratio is nearly 1-to-1. Not really much gets intercepted air to air. So flag is killing me directly, or creating so much damage with the airframes that they are breaking down. So that is these losses are heavily related to Clarkfield and Singapore. Once this is done, maybe there's still some flag on Java, but I would say this is the end of flag losses for at striking missions. Of course, maybe you can go for India or Australia. There's also a lot of flag waiting for you. But for army units, I would say this is then first over this kind of strikes. At least the heavy cities you must attack. The Japanese Navy have a lot of course, a lot of flag losses soon later, maybe in 43, if the enemy warships getting stronger flag guns. So anything else? Yeah, you can see this is then dive bombers, 1-engine bombers, 1-engine army bombers, 2-engine army bombers. This is some navy, but this is also small losses already. Small losses, so small losses. I don't even see where's my fighter. Where's my first fighter airframe? So I have here 5 Oscars, 1C dead, and 3 zeros. So in total I lost 8 fighter airplanes. And 1B ops losses. So 5, 8, 9, and 1 more. That cloud. So 10 fighter airframes lost for me so far. That is of course very small, low losses. Looks okay. I mean, you can still see the campaign. I lost 183, the Allies 230. So not the best kill ratio. But the Xargun is not really attacking me. So there's nothing coming to it. There's also nothing I can really kill. So I only fly my missions and no enemy airstrikes. So for the Allies, still some Buffaloes. These are British Buffaloes, Blenheim, British twin-engine bombers. These are the Flying Tigers. If I'm correct, it's 3 times 24 or 3 times. I think 3 times 24. So I kill one of the P-40 air wing in Asia. 2 left. Some P-40Es, but not really many. And yeah, you can see not so much. Most is British and Flying Tigers, and all others is small stuff. Good. Ship sunk. We had the Japanese, but I forgot to show the Allies. Again, we are only roughly 5 weeks in the game, so I would say normally after 3 months everything is correct. Acknowledged. So all of this is still fog of war. But I believe, and this is true, Portland, Boise, so 2 cruisers only killed. And tankers, some cargo ships, maybe some more submarines. But not a lot of military equipment and a lot of shitty stuff no one cares. So the amount of ships is not really a factor so far killed. So this is the status of the campaign so far. Goodie. In China, today was 1 battle here. Not really any important battle. Here's a big Chinese army. I cannot take them on. I don't need really to take them on. Well, I miss this Chinese corps was, yeah, it's more or less it's come out of the mountain and immediately running north, so I must catch them up. Luckily I have some tanks. They are faster and maybe can fight with them, but yeah, the terrain is not the best. This is all triple. So. For me, the Japanese divisions are still retreating and still holding, and this fighting force have very good disruption and fatigue values. The other one is more or less defeated, but fatigue and disruption is acceptable. So I would say if there's not more coming, then I can retreat in order. I also kicked out this unit. maybe I must hunt them down. Nothing more here in China. I took an empty base. I hunting down also the British fleeing, so I must take first the center or north of Burma. If this is south of Burma, then this is maybe north of Burma. Here's one last base, but this is must take it, nothing more. Here's important oil and refineries together with Rangoon, whereas also refineries. So here's 200 refineries, here's 300 oil and 100 refineries, so together it's 300 and 300, so means all oil you can process and change it to fuel and create your supply. So if this is all intact and working, then you can maybe create enough supplies for Burma without really a lot of supply shipping necessary. Yeah, but of course heavily related to how strong is the Allied air campaign against your refineries. And latest, if the oil is destroyed and you get no supplies more out of this, out of the refineries, then this can all change. Good. Singapore was so far not the best outcome, but I still have hope because my core divisions are still in very good shape. Nothing destroyed, all well. The problem is only disruption. So I'm waiting that the fatigue is under 20. And yeah, the Dutch are still running away. I will normally finish them off first. Taking here all the bases. Bataan fall, so maybe the most important battle today, victory of Bataan. My armies are TOE is, some units have a little tough time. So 50% more or less is disabled, but it's really more or less only disabled. And I have enough supplies in Manila waiting for me. And yeah, so this is Manila is also a temperate zone, so there's no malaria here. Bataan, I think, is the same, but no, malaria is here. So you must make sure, it's maybe a little special, but if we have a hex with malaria, I think it needs double time, triple time to get disabled units back to active units. So this is why I want to move as fast as possible back to Manila, because Manila is an okay zone. Here you can get your army much faster back. And also it's a big base where you have a lot of supplies. This also helps, and yeah. And I have here, if you click this, you can also see here always support is ready here and support is needed. More or less, so I have here roughly 150 supplies, support units ready to still in backup. So I don't know if this army arrives in Manila, this can change, but if I can have more support ready than is needed, this will also give obvious benefits and boost the to get disabled units back active. Yeah, nothing here to see, no activity around New Caledonian. Oh yeah, my carriers more or less show up here at the source end of New Zealand, Dunedin. Yeah, but I am a little low on fuel, so I can really not stay here much longer. I think I must return to port soon. I will keep some submarines here. I have my carriers here. My carriers was faster than my cover force, so the cruisers are returning. Everything is now still okay. The fire is completely out. Engine damage, because I run on full speed, is I think increasing, but no major. This is important that you don't have this major damage, or maximum only 5, then you can still use repair ships. This will still need 1 or 2 months, I think, in port to fix it all, but I don't really must go back to a shipyard. Yeah, good. And no sight. My submarines simply missed the target. So if Xargun move east, then there was no way I can intercept them. Anything else? I arrive in Suva. So we will have tomorrow the Battle of Suva and maybe already a victory, we will see. And the rest is more or less fine. Nothing else to see here. Maybe a last topic. Nothing super important, but so my plan to build up now is maybe after order. So this is the order or the build rate of my carriers. I first push Yunyu at the beginning, but then I realized normally Yunyu and Hiryu better operate together. They're the same carrier type. They're both Yunyu class carriers. So I try to only let Hiryu catch up with Yunyu, and let's say arrive roughly the same time. And then I boost the rest. Yeah. I mean, Shiano is never under construction, make no sense. Taiyo is simply too expensive to boost, so I also let it run normal. All of the 61 carriers are okay. These are all the same class, these are all Unryu class carriers. This is the Japanese mid-size carrier type. They are fast, they have range, they have radar. In 63, you can boost it up to 69, so 70 airplanes per carrier is the typical Japanese carrier size. It's okay. Of course, much smaller than American carriers, but you only have a tonnage of under 20,000. So, of course, they're smaller and cheaper and faster to build. For Japan, I mean, Japan simply have not the industry. And important, I think, also is this getting this escort carriers, simply because these are ships you can put in every task force and add some fighters, 0 fighters of course, and not a cloud. And then you have local air cover. They are maybe never enough to completely wipe out the enemy incoming strike group, but they mess up. And this can really save your convoy. And these are not built by Navy yards, this is by civilian merchandise yards, so no problem. You can always switch off cargo building or anything else. You don't need more cargo ships. Yeah. Battleships, Musashi is still working normal and Yamato is waiting. He lets them also catch up, so if they both arrive in December, fine. Cruisers, I only want the Nishin faster. It's also a merchandise. Yeah, this CS is not built by Navy yards. It's game rule. So this is a civilian ship at the end and is a cruiser escort, cruiser scout. So have some guns, can fight with these destroyers, not more, but most important is you have search airplanes. Destroyers, there's only one way, always boost them. It's my thinking at least. And submarine is everything what is possible is on hold. If you don't get any points out of this, then I don't really need it. So you can see I cannot stop it. It's only normal or faster, so I keep it on normal. You can also make it hard stop, but I think there's no benefit in this, so I keep it on normal. And this is my ship production. Good, and because we talk about industry, let's, again, you can use tracker and everything else, and I use sometimes tracker, but the very simple option is to handle the Japanese main islands is always check Tokyo. Because normally Tokyo tells you nearly everything. If you have here enough supplies, or you get, of course, triple the amount of requested supplies is the base request of the base. So there's no, you can see here now, I have no additional supplies. But if I have at least 50,000 supplies in Tokyo, then I know there's enough supplies in Japan. No one is missing supplies. And everything in surplus of 50,000 supplies I can ship out. Basic rules. And similar to fuel, I would say keep 500,000, at least 250,000 fuel in Tokyo, then you know there's no issue. Oil, I try to keep around 1 million, and resources I would say keep at least 1.5 million. If you have less than this, then you must act. better faster than later. But this is really the, if you follow these rules, then you have at least normally to 99% no issues. And again, there's also this other rule, so not everyone understands it maybe. Oil, only oil, but this is why, I don't know why, but oil has the issue that there's a limitation, and you can see here 30. And 30 times 1000, so means you have only a maximum capacity in this space of 30,000 crude oil you can handle. If you have, at the moment you have your 30,000, it will stop drilling oil. Normally it's impossible, you cannot stop the production, but the game simply say it spoils. They let the oil disappear. I don't know what they're doing with the oil, but it's disappear. So you have this base in the north, and it's not linked to the main island, so you must ship the oil out, the crude oil out. This is one of the bases. At the start of the war, you must keep an eye on it. And the other one is here. And here is the oil field only 8. So you can only keep 8,000 tons crude oil here. So that is much faster to spoil. So keep an eye on it. The rest bases normally, if they're full, the oil will find a way to some other bases. But yeah. Good. I think this is first enough. Maybe a super last step, but I not really change here anything. My engine production, that is only my setup. I keep this age 60. I keep because it's on 80. I think you can also you could normally change it also, but I say I keep it running to produce some engines. I don't really have a need for it, or most of the airframes based on this airplane I would not use, but you get some airframes for free, and have a little stock is never wrong. And it's 80 to waste it completely. You don't pay for anything for this. 232s. You could also maybe change this. In the Kill War game, I make 232s and 133. You can flip it, I think, around how you want it. But I always push them. And then you can see 5 times 43 and 5 times 45. And 3 and 3, 34, 35. And I always push them. You can never have enough. You need always this bonus of 500 sooner or later. The first airframe needs this is the 30. Normally the first airframe needs this is 34 because of the Helen. And then there's a 35. Of course, all of this engine setup is related to your R&D. But before this, I will go to my aircraft production, and this is now also heavily related to how the game is running. If you have an aggressive allied player, you maybe lose a lot of aircraft here. Then you must ramp up the production. But if I don't see, and up to now I don't have any big clash with Xargun, so I say I really don't need to push this up. Because if I increase here the numbers, these are all airframes. This consumes engines. And my first goal is get the engine bonus and not increase here the amount of aircraft produced to the maximum. Second, if I increase here the output, this costs me supplies, and I'm already so low on supplies, I have really nothing left. So I want to reduce the consumption of supplies wherever I can find it or handle it possible. You can also see that I switched some aircraft off because I have some in stock, 12. I don't need really more of this. This is a recon airplane. I also don't produce Nels because I have enough in pool, and it is a 32 engine, 33. Betty, I have no, my 16 is not enough pool, but it's a 32 engine, and I simply need the pool first, the 500, so I say, okay, 16 is still something. In worst case, I can change to Nel. And also the next problem is, if the Nel G3M3 coming out with a range of 21, I don't really think the Betty is more important, because the Nel M3 have also the option to use radar. First in 44, but can use radar. So more range, can use radar, but it's still slower. Betty is simply a faster airplane, but I only say the Bell T is faster than the Nell, but it's still so slow that any enemy interceptor will kill them non-stop. Good, so, and the rest is okay. So the really only airframe I push here in all of this is I increase here the Oscar, the second Oscar factory, to catch up to 60. Only to have a nice looking 60-60. I don't want to push both, because this will consume again more supplies and will have impact on my H35 airframe engine output. And yes, I produce Glens airframes, mainly only to have airframes I can use later for training, not for active duty. But they're using an air engine. No one is not more under production, but I have pool. So why not? And this is the start configuration. I don't pay anything for this. Jack, I produce them non-stop, but I also invest nothing more because I think 27 is far enough. At the beginning you have too little, but at a certain point you don't need more. So I don't want to invest in anything more. And again, every airplane I produce consumed engines. And big stuff what I start where I've invested here 16,000 supplies to buy or build the B5N1, because again it's the airframe or engine I have in pool for free. There are torpedo bombers, and I would say there is no real big difference between the N1 and the N2. N2 is a little faster, but it doesn't matter. They have the same range, they can carry torpedoes, and that is fine for me. So, and this simply allow me to use up this old pool engines. I don't must increase my numbers of N2s, so I don't consume so many H35. And sooner or later I will have the B6 torpedo bombers. And I think this is the first airframe you can produce en masse. Yeah, but of course, this only works in this situation if you have a very passive allied player. And if I have no real big consumption and need for replacement of my torpedo and dive bombers before June, July of 42, then I can work with this. And last, my A&D is going on, and you can see here the roof fighters are coming. They will use up the 35. Not that I really need this for roof fighters. Everyone switches to A6 M5, and this I think will be the most important fighter for me in the long run. Then if this is done, I must make a decision if I go for M8, but I don't think so much. This is a torpedo bomber you will use a long time, but you see it's a little far away. But in August, they can come close. The B7 is of course the end goal of any carrier strike craft. But the first airframe where you need the 500 pool is always the Helen, simply because you have your one A&D factory, where the A&D I think starts with 15 or 20. So I need only 7 hits on this factory, and then the A&D will start tricking. And this means so in the best possible way, in 7 days, I have this factory at 30. And then I would normally use, or then I could need or use the H34 engine bonus if I had a pool of 500. But of course I'm only at 84, so impossible. And I really produce here non-stop. You can see that this factory is, I think 31 is the beginning of the game. So I maybe 31 days in the game or something like this. And there was maybe one day I had not enough supplies or something like this. This can also happen. You can still see that I have sometimes too little supplies, even if I ask for supplies. There's simply not enough supplies in Japan. Good. So I maybe we need to show this. So again, finish this. This is my A&D. but there's nothing too special. I really see no need. What I would maybe try one day is forget the age 34, skip it all, go all for Oscar, and yeah. But then you must skip Helen and Tojo. I would say only skipping Tojo make no sense. Go for both Helen and Tojo, or skip it both. Yeah, and this is the rest. Good. Now is enough for today. Take care. Bye bye.